Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Verkidding Moon and The Blackest Heart, both books published by Simon & Schuster Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing TIAMAT'S WRAITH by James S. A. Corey, book number 8 in the Expanse series. So, we always review the covers first. This cover was done by Daniel Dociu. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's Dociu. For every cover, I've never been able to pronounce it. But let's take a look at the series as a whole. I have reviewed books 1 through 7 elsewhere on my channel. This is book 8. Book 9 is coming out in 1 month, so I wanted to have this one read in time for the release of book 9, and then book 9 will be the finish of the series. But let's look at this. We put all these books together on the shelf, and they look spectacular together. Look how they go from here to here, and they all look like they belong in the same series. All the hardcovers match. They've got, and more publishers should do this. You know which book is number 1 and which one's number 2, 3, 4, 5, because the actual numbers are on the spines. That's like, why didn't publishers think of that before? I mean, look at all the books in my library. Got series after series of books that there are not numbered, but yet Orbit Books put the numbers right there on the spine, so you know exactly what book you're looking at, which is just an ingenious idea. My God, how did we not think of that before? Anyway, TIAMAT'S WRAITH. I loved this book. This book has more space battles in it and more space opera, starships blowing up, things going on, just great, cool character interactions than almost the entire series combined previous. This is just probably my favorite book in the series so far. I'm just saying that right. And I loved the first book, The Expanse. It was The Expanse, The Leviathan Wakes, book number 1, is one of my favorite science fiction books of all time. And I think TIAMAT'S WRAITH actually outdid it, just in grand spectacle. And I was worried about that because book 7, so books 1 through 6 take place in a certain time frame, and then books 7, 8, and 9 take place about 20 years after the first 6 books. So every character has aged quite a bit, and their lives are slightly different. And I was just a little worried about that when I read book 7. But then my worries were they went away after I read book 8. And then so anyway, I had some notes here that I was going to read off the computer. Normally I don't read notes on stuff like this, but I wanted to make sure I get this right. I didn't want to just wing it, so I got my notes here. So I hope you forgive me. This is the first time I've ever done this in the 500 some odd book reviews. I wanted to make sure I got this right because this is an important book. So this book is told from the perspective of, and if you're familiar with these books, you know the characters I'm going to mention, but it's told from the perspectives of Holden, the captain of the ship, the Riconante, Elvie, a new character, Naomi, who's part of the crew of the Riconante, Alex, part of the crew of the Riconante, Teresa, and Bobby. Those are the characters that are in this. Now, this book starts out with the death of one of our main characters from the previous books, and that is the Everett Sala, and she's kind of a world leader, and there's a funeral with her, and Holden is kind of attending that funeral and thinking about everything that's happened sort of throughout the previous 7 books. So we kind of get like an overview of the 7 books from his perspective right there at the beginning as he's attending that funeral. And he's kind of not really attending it. He's kind of like forced to attend it because he's kind of like a prisoner there in that area. But anyway, so the part that I wanted to get right was one of the characters that narrates the story is Elvie, and I really loved her perspective. Elvie, and I'm just going to read straight from my notes. Elvie is a major in the Laconian Empire. She leads a scientific mission with her husband Fayez for the Empire with a number of different scientists aboard the Falcon, a Laconian ship specifically made for the mission. They study dead systems. In other words, there's these sort of stargates that have opened up in the Expanse universe that takes the all of our characters to different star systems, and but some of these star systems are dead. They find them dead. Like, what happened? What killed the previous people? The ship is able to travel from system to system with a newly invented, fully immersive liquid chamber crash couch that can travel up to 30 Gs without killing its occupant. The reason I'm reading this is because if I'd have tried to remember that off the top of my head, I would have not got it right. The Falcon scientific mission also uncovers things using protomolecule-infected test subjects called catalysts. Anyway, it goes into the proto-molecule stuff, which is sort of hinted at. I mean, we kind of get what we slowly have learned about these proto-molecules throughout all of these 7 books. And then in Tiamat's Wrath, it all sort of comes to a head where we kind of figure out what it is. And I'm not going to really go into what it is specifically, but it's just grand science fiction ideas exploding across the page here. Not only that, but just we've got our Riconante crew who have stuck together through thick and thin with Captain Holden and Naomi and Alex and all of those people that are there. And then we've got new characters like Teresa and Fayez and Elvie who go off on great adventures. And everybody's a little bit older and wiser, and things now they can understand that these stargates that have opened up, that have expanded us out into the universe, have taken us to places where we might not want to be. Where things out there are a lot more different than we ever would have expected. And it's the revelations that come in this book are just stunning. And the battle scenes are just the best so far. And that's what I loved about this. And so I just wanted to give this book a 10 out of 10. Because it is just great. Great. And if you've watched my review of the whole series, you know I have fluctuated between, 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s, and stuff like that. All through, the whole series is just dynamite. And now I can't wait for book number 9. And we will get to that review in a month after I read it.